Have you ever stood at a crossroads where one tiny decision could change everything? It wasn't a life or death situation, just a small moment that required a little bit of courage. We often think of bravery as grand, heroic acts, saving someone from a burning building or leading a nation through crisis. But what if I told you that the most transformative acts of courage are actually small, quiet, and happen every single day? These are the tiny moments of bravery that, step by step, build an extraordinary life. They are the seeds from which our greatest growth, deepest connections, and most profound changes emerge. Today, we're going to explore these moments, understand their power, and discover how you can harness them to reshape your own world. Let's start with a simple idea: small acts of courage create significant life changes. Think about the last time you wanted to speak up in a meeting but didn't. Or that time you saw someone you wanted to talk to, but fear held you back. These moments feel insignificant, but they are pivot points. Choosing courage in these small instances is like adjusting the rudder of a massive ship by just 1 degree. It doesn't seem like much at first, but over a long journey, it leads you to an entirely different destination. I remember a friend, let's call her Sarah. Sarah was incredibly talented at her job but was painfully shy. For years, she watched others get promotions she deserved because they were more vocal. One day, during a team meeting, her boss presented a new project with a flawed strategy. Everyone was silent. Sarah's heart was pounding, her palms were sweating. In her head, a voice screamed, "Don't say anything. You'll sound stupid." But another, quieter voice whispered, "What if you're right?" She took a deep breath and raised her hand. Her voice shook as she pointed out the flaw and proposed a solution. There was a moment of silence, and then her boss looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time. He said, "That's a brilliant point." That single, terrifying moment of bravery was the first domino. It led to her leading that project, which led to a promotion, and eventually, a career she had only dreamed of. It all started with one shaky sentence. This brings us to our second point: everyday bravery fosters personal growth and resilience. Courage isn't a trait you're born with, it's a muscle you build. Each time you choose to act despite your fear, you're doing a rep. Saying no when you're overwhelmed, admitting you don't know something, asking for help, these are all acts of everyday bravery. They might not feel heroic, but they are fundamental to building self-trust and resilience. When you consistently show up for yourself in these small ways, you're teaching your brain that you can handle discomfort. You're proving to yourself that fear is just a feeling, not a stop sign. Let's break down the psychology of it. When you face a small fear and push through it, your brain releases dopamine, rewarding you and creating a positive feedback loop. This is how you build what psychologists call self-efficacy, the belief in your own ability to succeed. The first time you try public speaking, it might be terrifying. But after you survive it, the next time feels a little less scary. The 10th time, you might even enjoy it. You haven't eliminated the fear, you've just expanded your comfort zone to include it. Resilience isn't about never falling down, it's about knowing you have the strength to get back up, the strength forged in the fires of countless tiny battles you won against your own fear. Think about learning to ride a bike. The first time you let go of the training wheels is a moment of pure, unadulterated terror. But you push the pedals anyway. You wobble, you might even fall. But you get back on. Each push, each wobble, each successful 2-foot glide is a tiny act of courage. And eventually, you're not just riding, you're soaring down the street, wind in your hair, feeling invincible. Life is a lot like that. Your career, your relationships, your personal projects, they all require you to let go of the training wheels and trust that you can handle the wobbles. Now for our third and most powerful point: courageous actions can inspire collective movements. Margaret Mead famously said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." But what starts that small group? Often, it's one person's tiny moment of bravery. When one person stands up for what's right, it gives others permission to do the same. Courage is contagious. Consider Rosa Parks. We remember her as a monumental figure in the civil rights movement, but her history-making act began as a small, personal moment of bravery. She was tired. Not just physically tired from a long day's work, but tired of the daily humiliation of segregation. When the bus driver told her to give up her seat, the easy, safe choice was to comply. But in that moment, she chose courage. Her simple, quiet no was an act of profound bravery that rippled outwards, igniting the Montgomery bus boycott and galvanizing a movement that would change the course of history. Her courage wasn't planned for a grand stage, it was a personal decision made in a moment of exhaustion and conviction. It gave thousands of others the courage to join her, to walk for miles instead of riding segregated buses, and to demand their dignity. This ripple effect happens on a smaller scale, too. In a toxic work environment, when one person bravely reports misconduct, it often empowers others to come forward. In a friendship group, when one person vulnerably shares their struggle with mental health, it creates a safe space for others to open up about their own challenges. Your single act of courage can be the spark that lights 1,000 other candles. You never know who is watching, who is waiting for someone else to go first. By choosing bravery, you might just be the leader they were waiting for. So, how do we cultivate this everyday courage? It starts with awareness. Recognize the moments when fear is holding you back. It's that flutter in your stomach, that voice of doubt in your head. Don't ignore it. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I feel scared right now, and that's okay. The goal isn't to be fearless, it's to act anyway. Next, start small. Don't try to conquer your biggest fear tomorrow. Pick a tiny challenge. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been avoiding, or introducing yourself to a new neighbor, or sharing a creative idea with a friend. These are your training weights. Celebrate your small wins. Each time you act despite fear, give yourself credit. Acknowledge that you did something hard. This reinforces the behavior and builds momentum. And finally, redefine your relationship with failure. We're so afraid of failing, of looking foolish, that we often choose not to try at all. But what if failure is just data? What if it's not an endpoint, but a stepping stone? Every successful person has a long list of failures behind them. They didn't succeed because they never failed, they succeeded because they weren't afraid to. They saw each failure as a lesson, a tiny course correction on their journey. When you stop seeing failure as a judgment on your worth and start seeing it as part of the process, it loses its power over you. The fear of failure is almost always worse than failure itself. The world doesn't change through grand, sweeping gestures alone. It changes through the accumulation of millions of tiny, brave moments. The decision to raise your hand, to say no, to say I love you first, to apologize, to ask for help, to start that project, to be the first one on the dance floor. These moments are the building blocks of a life well lived. They are the threads that weave the tapestry of a stronger, more resilient, and more authentic you. And collectively, they are the sparks that light up the world. Your life is a story being written one moment at a time. Don't let fear be the author. You hold the pen. So, what's one tiny act of bravery you can commit to this week? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be a choice to move toward your fear instead of away from it. What small moments of bravery have changed your life? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could be the inspiration someone else needs to take their own small step. Thanks for watching, and if you found this valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on living a more intentional life. See you next time.